the torture.
Don't know how long it take man to reach ya. Man a torture. Them see na me I am no man a torture. I'm looking at me
Welcome once again to the BFC. This is the BHIM Festival Countdown with me, Vadeduchi Mwabwate, counting down to 24 December with Stonebwoy Wanga, the BHIM Nation president at the Accra Sports Stadium. Grab your ticket, *714 *2025 hash. On this edition, we take you to a whole new level. Over the last 10 years, not only has Stonebwoy given you the bangers, filled the arenas, filled the stadiums, filled almost every possible venue on this planet, but he has impacted positively on many lives. Talk about education, talk about health, talk about skills training, talk about community development. Stonebwoy, through the Livingstone Foundation, has transformed lives, and the stories are compelling. Today, director of the Livingstone Foundation, Dr. Louisa takes us through the journey.
Hi, everyone. So my name is Dr. Louisa, and I'm a director at the Livingstone Foundation. So the Livingstone Foundation was set up officially in the year 2016. But prior to that, we had been operating and doing everything as a foundation, but officially it was launched in 2016. So the foundation was birthed to offer some charitable services that are from Stonebwoy, but not directly from Stonebwoy because he can't be everywhere all the time. So the foundation was sort of like the CSR arm of the Stonebwoy brand, and that is why it was created. But over time, we sort of attached it to the festival because we wanted to be able to do more for the community and also for the patrons of the concert. Deciding and coming up with areas that we wanted to tackle as a foundation was pretty easy. It came from the interest of Stonebwoy himself and areas that he's naturally passionate about, because then it makes it easier for him to be able to create that impact. So number one was education. Stonebwoy is very big on education and educating oneself formally and informally. So education was one of the main areas we decided to focus on. And then healthcare. Obviously, health is wealth. There are so many ways that our health can be affected, and sometimes it's through no fault of ours, and you need the help. And Stonebwoy has been in that situation where at a point he needed help for his health. And so he has decided to focus a lot on that area so that he can create impact in the lives of people and their families. And then also community development projects is another area that we focus heavily on, because Stonebwoy has his fans at heart, and he knows that a lot of his fans are from communities that need assistance. So through interventions where we can go into the community and create impact, that is one of the things that makes Stonebwoy sleep at night. So that had to be one of our main pillars as well. So it was pretty easy for us because we focus on the things that Stonebwoy is naturally passionate about. So when we started the Livingstone Foundation, our goal was simple, and it was to create impact. So over the years, we've been guided by some pillars, as I said, and these are all born out of the belief that no one should be left behind in any circumstance at all. So our work touches on four main areas, as I said: education, healthcare, community development, and then humanitarian support. So when it comes to education, we have focused on different areas, but we started off with supplying schools with basics, essentials like books, pens, and all of that. And then we went on to do a bigger project, which was the Trekume project. We actually renovated an entire school block in the Trekume Basic School in the Volta region. And so that was a very, very big project that we embarked on. And there were some glitches here and there, but finally we were able to complete it. And I tell you, till this day, it's so heartwarming when the headmaster sends us videos of the children enjoying their new classroom, their new board, their desks, and all of that. It's so heartwarming. So that's one of the big projects we've done for education. We continue to support schools. So we've actually adopted the Hope Setters Autism Center. And how that happened was very interesting. We learned about a boy called Holyfield, who is autistic, and he was nonverbal. And for a long time, they were trying to teach him to talk and then also to write. And the first word that he ever wrote was Stoneboy. Nobody taught him to write it. They had been trying and to teach him to write A, B, C, D. And one day he just took a pen and paper and wrote Stoneboy. So everybody was fascinated about it, and he loves Stone. He's always listening to his music. He sings his songs. Now he speaks, so he sings his songs. Whenever he goes to their ICT lab, he's searching for Stoneboy songs. And so we went there so Stone could meet him, and it was such a sight to behold. So Stone was moved to adopt the school from that period on. So we've been supporting the school, every now and then. So in the area of education, these are some of the projects that we have undertaken. And then now we have a new project that is going to be launched very soon, which is the Livingstone Education Fund, the Livingstone Legacy Education Fund. And this was born out of the idea of brilliant but needy students and the need for them to be supported. And so, as we all know, Stoneboy graduated from university. He did his undergrad and then his master's. He's done his master's and will be attending his graduation. And so during his time in school, he always had people who would come to him and ask for support with their fees. You know how the university system works. If you haven't paid your school fees, you're not allowed to take exam and all of that. So he supported so many people in that regard. So we spoke about it and said, why don't we formalize this? Because you obviously cannot do it for every brilliant but needy student that there is. But if we set up a structure that allows for these students to be catered for, even when you're no longer around or no longer in the school, the system still runs. And so that is what has brought about this fund, which is going to be launched in our door very soon. And we already have some beneficiaries and we're happy about that. So in the area of education, these are some of the works that we have done since the foundation was launched. Also, this fund was done, there were some beneficiaries of this fund, even though it was not formalized. All the way back in 2017, I think, Stone did it in his alma mater, his senior high school, where some brilliant but needy students were supported with their school fees and all of that. So it's something that has always been, and we just find ways to improve upon it and make it bigger and better. When it comes to the area of healthcare, we've done a lot. Because, as I said, this is an area that Stone is very passionate about because he's been in a situation where he was in a hospital for about 6 months. And so he knows and understands the plight of people who are going through health challenges. And he does not joke with this at all. And so we always embark on these medical outreaches where we go into the community, we go to the markets, we go to parks, or when we have a big event coming up, we set up and then we have a health screening. And what makes our health screening exercises different from what is usually done is that we're not only going out there to go and diagnose the conditions in the community and then write prescription for them to go and buy, because we know a lot of the people cannot afford the medication. So what we do is when we go there, we're going with a full team of doctors, nurses, pharmacists, and we're going with medication. So when you come and you're screened and a condition is diagnosed, immediately you're given medication so you can go home with that. You don't have to go and worry yourself about where you're going to find money to buy an inhaler or buy medication for high blood pressure, diabetes, or anything like that. So that is what sets our medical health screenings apart from any other one that there is. We've also done some donations to the Kolebu Child Health Unit, and that was done on my daughter's birthday, but it was in collaboration with the Livingstone Foundation. So we also paid the hospital bills of all the patients who were there on that day. And so we got to find out that some of them had been discharged, but they were still in the hospital because they hadn't paid their bills. So we were able to do that. We also went on to do the same thing at the Ridge Hospital just last year, I believe, where we paid the hospital bills of all the patients who were there on that day. We've done that for local clinics. We have supported and supplied them with medical supplies, toiletries, and things like that. We don't necessarily post everything all the time, but these, especially when it comes to the area of healthcare, is something that we're doing every month, because we have affiliations with so many health facilities that, rely on us sometimes when we are able to support. So we go all out and we make sure that whatever we can do to support, we do that with all the energy that we have. So when it comes to community development projects, we have our skills training exercises or skills training programs, which I think was also launched in 2016. So for the first skills training program that we did, that was done for persons living with disabilities. So we had a pretty large group of persons living with disability who went through different skills training exercises so that they can earn a living out of that, because we don't want them to be out there on the road begging and all of that simply because they have a disability. So we wanted to empower them with some skills that they can earn money from for themselves and for their families. So we had skills training in soap making, in bead making, what's this called? Epoxy resin design, all sorts of different skills. And from that first edition, we realized that the impact was really huge. And so we decided to focus on that more. So in 2020, when COVID hit, we actually termed it the BHIM Skills. And so that was done in Ashaiman. The first edition of BHIM Skills now was done in Ashaiman. And this was for people who had lost their jobs during the COVID, because we know how crazy that season was. A lot of people had lost their jobs. They were home, not doing anything. And so we decided to set up that program. So we had people coming in to learn all these different skills. And I always say this, that's training session or that program was so impactful that the next session that we had beneficiaries of the first edition coming back as tutors for the second edition. And that just blew my mind, because they came for the first edition. They didn't know how to make soap. They didn't know how to make hats or any of these projects, like these skills that they learned. And then they come back a few months later and they have mastered it so much, and they are making money and earning from it so much that they've started training people. So they came back as trainers, and we've been working with some of them for years now, since 2020. So every time we have a skills training program, we call on them and they come and they wholeheartedly come and train more people. So for the skills training is one of our flagship programs that we are very proud of, because we see the impact. We actually had a person living with disability who is one of the beneficiaries of the skills training project, and he actually owns a laundry service now. So what he does is he makes his own soap, and that is what he uses in his laundry, and he's doing good business now, and we're happy to always see and always support where and when we can. And still in the area of community development, as we know, Stone is very big on up and coming artists and underground artists. And so he has now launched the BHIM Next Generation, which is going to be out there very soon. But there's a lot of underground work with empowering some of these artists. And these are not things that you would openly hear Stone talk about until maybe it's officially launched, because sometimes he feels like it's something that he has to do, and so he doesn't want to make too much noise about that. So very soon, all of that will be outdoored, and we'll all see what has been going on behind the scenes. But it's really impressive work that I'm also very happy about, because of how passionate Stone is, about up and coming artists and ways that he can support and help them. So when it comes to humanitarian support, with that, we've done several donations to hospitals, to police stations, to different groups of people at different times, orphanages. I remember when we went to the Tamale SOS, they didn't even want us to leave. They were just so happy about the fact that we didn't just come to do a donation. We actually came to spend time with them. So all of these donations are things that we've done. I remember when we did a donation to the Ashaiman police station during the COVID, and can you imagine the pictures that were taken on that day, later on, I think a few days after that, were circulating on the internet as with fake news that Stonebwoy had been arrested simply because he was standing between two policemen. He was wearing a hoodie and he had held his hands in front of him like this, and they took the picture. So I saw the thing and I was like, what's going on? And I went and I showed it to him, and he just looked at it and he said, have I been arrested? And I said, no. And he said, so go and sleep. I was like, what? But yeah, that's a very interesting story that I always refer to when I remember that period. But in terms of humanitarian support, nothing is going to stop us from doing it, because for us and for Stonebwoy specifically, he feels so fulfilled when he hears that there is something going on somewhere and he can support in any way possible. And so we always have our ears on the ground, and we are open to coming in where and when we can to offer support. So these are some of the projects we've undertaken. Some of them I don't even remember because there's so much. Yes, how could I forget our Mother's Day events? Hey. So there are so many of the projects. How could I forget the Mother's Day donation exercise? So every Mother's Day, we always go out there and celebrate our mothers. So we have a nice little party where we invite some widows to come and dine with us. So we don't just go there to give them packages or to donate items to them. We actually have a full-blown party. Stonebwoy comes, he sits with them, he eats with them, he dances with them, and we have a good time. And then we give them some packages and we give them some money just to make them feel special on that special day. And that's also one of our very fulfilling programs or events that we have every year on Mother's Day. In terms of the screening exercise, we always have one in January for cervical cancer. So we do offer cervical cancer screening. Then in October, we always have one for breast cancer. So we always have a breast cancer screening exercise. And the whole point of this is prevention. So conditions such as cervical cancer and breast cancer, when they are detected very early, they save lives. So we don't want to wait and hear that, oh, this person has got stage 4 cancer and so on and so forth. So we go in early, we offer these screening exercises, and then we're able to come in for those who are diagnosed and try to see how we can help. So 10 years of BHIM Festival and its association with the Livingstone Foundation, we have impacted thousands of lives. I forgot to mention one of our most expensive interventions or projects, which is the borehole project that we launched in the year 2023, where we built 4 boreholes in the Western region. And the whole point of this was to come into the community to assist the people in the community who had been affected by Galamsey, because we've seen videos of the kind of damage that has been done in areas where they were mining in the water bodies. And these water bodies were the only source of water for people in the community. And so when we saw videos online, Stone said, he was so troubled. And honestly, the day we saw those pictures, he didn't sleep. And he was so upset and was wondering how they're going to find water. And we were told that they sometimes put a chemical in the water so that the dirt settles at the bottom, and then they still drink the water, they still bath with it. And he was so troubled by it and said, you know what? When I woke up in the morning, he said, you know what? I thought of it, and we're going to build boreholes in those areas. And I said, wow, really? And he said, yes. And I started, doing the research. We sent somebody out there. Actually, Kobiche was also very helpful because I think he had gone there to do an interview. So he linked us up with the assemblyman. We actually went to the community. We went to scout areas where we could build the boreholes, and then we started. And I must tell you, it was a very expensive project because Stonebwoy didn't want us to just do any normal borehole. He wanted a mechanized borehole, and he wanted the best of the best. So we had to do a lot of back and forth until we got it right the way he wanted it. And eventually, we went out there to go and launch the project. And so we officially presented the boreholes to the communities. And this is the water they've been using now. When we went there, we saw a lot of stories, very, very sad stories of children that had been born with deformities because their mothers were drinking water from that were heavily, contaminated with chemicals and all of these things from the mining. So at least we're happy that with our intervention of the boreholes, they don't have to use these contaminated water bodies anymore. Wow, 10 years of BHIM Festival. If we're looking at numbers in terms of the impact we've created, I really cannot quantify. We have had impact on thousands, hundreds of thousands of people when it comes to the area of education, renovating school blocks, donations to school children, education fund, supporting brilliant but needy children, paying school fees for them. In the area of healthcare, surgery bills that have been paid for people that has not only impacted their lives, but the lives of their families, medical outreaches and screenings, people who have been diagnosed early and so who do not have to suffer the full cause of an illness and possibly died. These are thousands and thousands and thousands of people that we have impacted when it comes to humanitarian support. So this year, on the 20th of December, we are having our free health screening exercise in Osu. And this is because our concert is on the 24th. And so we're giving 4 days prior to the concert. We want to make sure that everybody is well and fit. So it's going to be a full health screening exercise with general health screening, eye care, dental care. All of these are going to be covered. And we are going to also be giving out medication to people who are diagnosed with different ailments. We're going to be doing HIV testing, all sorts of different lab testing there. We want to make sure that we are fit and ready for the stadium on the 24th. And so when it comes to impacts that has been created by the Livingstone Foundation and also a decade of the BHIM Festival, it's immeasurable. And we're happy to continue to grow bigger and better and to impact more lives. Hi everyone, Dr. Louisa here, and I can't wait to see you on the 24th of December at the Accra Sports Stadium for the BHIM Festival. Tickets are selling fast. If you haven't got yours yet, *714*2025# or www.bhimfestival.com is very easy. You purchase your tickets, you receive your code, and a few days to the concert, you receive your band and you're ready to attend BHIM Festival. Also, we have a lot of surprises for you. And so stay tuned to Stoneboy's social media pages in the days leading to the concert, and you shall be entertained. See you on the 24th of December. Bye. BHIM.
This has been the Livingstone Foundation edition of the BFC BHIM Festival Countdown, and the goodness overflows the same way that the music overflows. Catch us live on the 24th of December at the Accra Sports Stadium. It is still one God, BHIM Nation President on the mic. Chale. For tickets, dial *714*2025# or log on to www.bhimfestival.com. Chale, this is the BFC Abana Boye Stadium. BHIM, we out.
1212, this is your one and only OGD MC, and this is the countdown to BHIM Festival. See you guys on 24th of December. We outside.
The streets, the heat, the energy, the heartbeat of the city pounds at one destination only. The Accra Sports Stadium. This December 24, 2025, the Humanitarian Music Group presents the BHIM Festival 2025, the Torture Edition. The BHIM President Stoneboy returns to the center stage at the biggest African party. This is not just a festival, but another historic night in the making. Tickets are going fast. VVIP 400 cities, VIP 200 cities, regular 50 cities. Dial *714*2025# or visit bhimfestival.com to secure our spot now for an unforgettable night night of music, culture, and unity. For sponsorship and more info, call 0501 550 000. This is a decade of dominance, and the torch still burns bright. Stone Boy BHIM Festival 2025, the Torture Edition, Wednesday, December 24th, Accra Sports Stadium. Be there.
Don't see me like a fool because I don't do giddy 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 giddy.
Welcome to BHIM Festival, ladies and gentlemen.
I pray a man I send them now. God nah sleep, nah slumber, wow. Me no know who go defending from Jah lightning and thunder. Because of them never see me cleaner. Don't see me like a fool because I don't do giddy giddy giddy. Well then again, yo, oh, fire, hey. Make it all just so grab a she, oh.
The Torture.
Don't know how long it take man to reach ya. Man a torture. Them see na me eye and no man a torture. I'm looking at me eye.